Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry for the 1 minute delay there. Always technical issues when it comes to when you want to use Zoom. Let me just get my screen up. So before we start, if everyone could just check for me that the chat is working by letting us know where you're based and what your job role is. It helps us tailor the session a little bit so that we're appealing to the job titles with all the updates. So hopefully that is working.
Something in there as well. So.
Perfect. Here we go. Let's have a look. Panelists can chat with everyone. Attendees can chat with everyone. There we go. Turn that on. So it should work now. So yes, let us know where you're based. If you are like us and you're in the south of the UK, it is freezing today. Somebody came in from a Cirencester and said it was snowing.
Yeah, I was just about to say that we had snow this morning.
Literally, where's spring gone? We had spring at the weekend. Where's it gone?
Very nice to see you. Yeah, the weekend was lovely. No jackets, and now we're back to snow. So not nice. Right, we'll give everybody 1 more minute and then we will get started with the updates. We'll let a few more people trickle in.
I can see people in here, but not chatting in the chat. So we've got a few shy people, which is fine. But if you fancy chatting to us, we always love to know where you're coming from.
Nadine, nice to have you. Essex, so it's probably a bit cold. You're not too far. Too far from us, I think. Putting my geography to the test.
Yeah.
Don't go down that route, Bridget. We're not.
No.
We're not in that area.
Right, we are going to get started today. So any questions, we've got time at the end to answer them, but do drop them anything in the chat. If you're excited about specific updates or you have specific questions as we go along, we will try and answer them as well. Yeah, it's absolutely freezing, Nadine. It is. Cool. So this is all about February. So today we've got Amy, who is our head of revenue, Jem, who is our head of success, and then me, who is the marketing manager here at BabelQuest. I'm sure everyone on this call has met one of us before. And if you haven't met the rest of us, then it's nice to meet you. We're going to get started with the AI side of things. So HubSpot is really pushing so many AI updates that I think we start with the most exciting ones, which I think is AI. And there is a lot to go through today. So starting off with remixing multiple pieces of content. So if you're using Content Hub and you're using the remix tool, this is in private beta, but I thought it was really, really exciting. So I've included it today. So if you have been using the remix tool, you know that you feed it a piece of content like a blog post, and then it redistributes that into social posts or ads or emails or landing pages, any kind of content form you want. And now this means it's a bit like Notebook LM in the sense that you're feeding it your own sources. So you can feed it multiple pieces of sources of information just to give it even more context to create that content. So the AI, obviously, anytime it creates content, you obviously need to go back and read through it before you publish anything. But this is, I think, is going to make it a lot more accurate. We haven't been able to play with it because it is in private, but I just wanted to flag. Hopefully, it's going to be in public this month, and we can share when that happens if you follow us on LinkedIn. But a really fun one. I'm excited for this.
Right, it's very cool.
Really cool.
I think it's should be best quality content that is generated.
Yeah. And Bridget, I know you were saying yesterday Content Hub's your favorite hub at the moment, and based on this, I can see why. Like this is exciting new stuff.
All the best AI. If you're a marketer, Content Hub is just really good, really cool at the moment.
Yeah. So what I'm finding cool as a account management team is all of the summary stuff at the moment in HubSpot. So you've had this on the company
sales team. It's been brilliant.
Yeah. It's so good to get it summarized. So we've had this on the company and contact records and deal records for a while, and this is really useful for getting a quick snapshot of what's going on. But this is taking it to the next level and putting it into workflows. So being able to get a summarized record to go through in a notification, for example, to the team. So say you want to allocate a newly closed deal, you want to hand over to account manager, you could summarize the record in the notification so that they have a really quick summary of what's happened in the sales process, which I think is brilliant. This is so good. Unfortunately, I couldn't get us to do a good demo of this without kind of causing issues around showing you our portal, because it's actually giving you proper information. So I can't demo it today, but definitely worth looking into. Really like this one.
Adrian, thanks for your comment. We are to the summary of that, but I think it's one of the best things that is out. The updates are about at the moment. The only shortfall I've seen on the update is lead objects. I wish they'd show the lead object. I think that's the only thing that's kind of missing. But that's obviously from a sales perspective. But on the company and contact records, it's been really useful.
I think that kind of goes for any AI tool. I think summary is my favorite thing out of video calls or anything. And the fact that you can then ask Copilot questions about this as well to dig a bit deeper or go find a specific topic that was raised. I find this is brilliant. So really excited that's in workflows.
This one, saving your favorite Copilot prompts. So when you write a prompt and hit enter, you'll be able to see on this little screenshot here, there's a little star, and if you click it, it'll turn pinky purpley color, and that can add it as a favorite. So again, just a great way to kind of streamline your workflows if you're finding yourself using a lot of the same kind of prompts. So this works as a nice little save. So yeah, for a nice little update on that one.
And it's good that it's for everybody as well. They're not it's not the pro. This one's for all hubs. This one is for the bounce detected via Breeze Intelligence. So if you're using Breeze Intelligence, you'll see a new record, a new property against your contact record that basically tells you whether or not they think that email's going to have been bounced before. So it's going to really help you with your email deliverability. You're going to help avoid quarantined emails and things like that. So again, I couldn't show this in our portal without showing you an actual contact record, but I cropped their name out so you could see what it would look like. So I went into a contact record, went into the properties and searched for email bounce or bounce detected, and it will say yes. So that's the enriched one. So there is the normal bounced property, which is still it will be populated when you've sent them an email and it's bounced. But this one gets populated when that contact's been enriched. So you do need Breeze Intelligence for it, but available across all hubs if you've got Breeze Intelligence credits.
So Bridget, are we thinking you'd need to add that as a kind of add that to exclusion list criteria? Because obviously it's a different property to the bounced property. So I guess it's thinking about how that impacts any non-marketing contact lists you've got set up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say do the reverse as well, Jem, rather than just exclude it, you could add it to a list where you then might go and try and find out what the correct email address is, or reach out to them via another channel.
Yeah,
something like that.
Keep it for review, so you can and you can dig a bit deeper and find out where are all these coming from. Are you doing like imports? Are they coming from third party? Is it coming from a certain form and it's just a bot or something? So you can really dig down and figure out where it's coming from, why it's happening, and then fix it moving forwards as well.
Nice addition to a data hygiene dashboard.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting move by HubSpot as well as Breeze is being developed, because I know that, for example, there was a couple of weeks ago, Apollo got kicked off LinkedIn because of their data scraping methods and that kind of thing. So I'm kind of watching this to see where it goes, because I wonder if HubSpot's developing more on that side of things. But yeah, just one to watch. Is very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Let's go on to the next one. So more AI.
Yeah, so I actually want to demo this one because I think Copilot is something that I'm trying to learn how to use. I'm a person that doesn't really like change very much. I have to really work at it. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Yeah, and Copilot's one of those, because I think it's partly learning how to ask it questions. I think that's the thing. Like, this isn't quite like Gemini, which I would also use, because you also have to keep it quite HubSpot specific. So it's knowing what it's useful for. That's finding that's good. So this one's quite a simple way of getting to know Breeze Copilot. So in here, you can basically, you could go for a prompt. You can do this two ways, the list creation. You can go for a prompt and search for list and click generate list, or you could just type in here, make me a list of MQLs who have a known industry, for example. And testing this earlier, I think this is a good example of how you have to learn how to feed it. So when I did this earlier, I didn't get quite what I wanted. So we can, if I do a demo of that.
Is that because you've used an acronym and it doesn't understand the acronym?
I've tested it both ways. It's partly how it interprets your question. So we'll see what it comes out with now. See, it's going to take a minute. Earlier, it came up with lead status instead of life cycle stage. So I had to say, make me a list of contacts with the life cycle. Yeah, it's done the same. So MQL or marketing qualified lead returns the same comment. So it understood the acronym, but it's gone for lead status instead of life cycle stage. So use life cycle stage instead of lead status. Hopefully that works. And I think, yes, you could just go and create a list, but I think the more you practice this, the more complicated it could become. And actually the and or logic, yes, you still have to type in, find an MQL with a known industry, but actually then being able to say and exclude the list of exclusion list and do this and that. And I think really then it could get really into the details of and or logic. So I think that's really powerful. So I've just been able to correct it there. And then I can just click create a list in HubSpot and it will generate that as a list. So I think that's a really nice way of dipping your toe into Copilot. Because like with all AI, it has to learn from you, but also you have to learn how to speak to it. So yeah, I'm finding that really useful at the moment. And I guess it's the same for if you want to create a report. I've had real split results with trying to get it to create reports for me, purely because you have to be so specific and make sure you're talking the same language. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful.
I'd agree with that, Jem. I've had the same issues with reports. I think that's why I've been trying to use it the most, rather than this, but this is really interesting.
It's one of those things that it would instantly make you go, oh, I don't want to use it, but actually no, it's worth learning it now before it gets even better. Could you imagine how Copilot's going to be in a year's time? To learn it now and it to start to learn from you, much better to start now, I think.
That's a good one.
So this is a good one, company exclusions and buyer intent. We are using buyer intent ourselves, and there's two ways actually now to exclude companies. You can either do it via, you can see this screenshot in the list of companies when you view them, or in your configuration settings, there's a new kind of area where you can add in those exclusions. And I think it's just useful if you want to exclude partners, suppliers, competitors, for example. You can do that there, and then it excludes it from the overview tab, from your save views and the email digest if you've got those set up as well. So just a nice addition really, that you can exclude irrelevant companies rather.
Yeah, and do you know, I was talking about buyer intent the other day, and there are parts of buyer intent that are free to everyone. You don't need Breeze Intelligence, but to be able to exclude, you do need to have it doesn't use credits, but you just need to have those credits as well. So it's worth pointing out that everybody should still be using this, but there are parts of it you can't unless you've got the subscription. Let me go to the next one. So this is very similar to what Jem showed earlier with the summarizing records, but you can actually now do that within Slack if you're using Slack, which I think is really cool. So a deal has moved, for example, you get a notification in Slack, you can just put summarize deal with Copilot. You can click that button within Slack and it will show you all the details, which I think what's really cool with Copilot is they're bringing it to where people are using HubSpot, which is in Slack and it is in, these other tools, because you don't, it's where people are going to see it. So that one's a really cool one as well. And that's for all hubs, and that one is live.
I can't get to the unmute button now. Blame everyone talking in the room. Yeah, so this is another one I'm actually going to demo, Ask Breeze. The reason I'm going to demo it is it's one I'm still getting my head around. I was talking to Bridget earlier on this. I think this is huge, but it'll take a little while for us all to get our heads around it. I think it's still in beta. It is still in beta, but it's available to everyone from Pro up. So if you have any hub from Pro level up, you can use this. And I'm thinking there's elements of it that remind me of Ops Hub and the custom coded actions. Yes, it's not getting as complex as that, but there are some really interesting use cases of this. So this is what I'm going to be playing with in March to really get my head around, because I think this is a game changer for some people. You don't have to have Breeze for it either. It's literally just in there for Pro and up. So yeah, let me share my screen. So basically, normal workflow. I just set up a random one. When you click in here, you'll now see this. Well, if you're opted into the beta, you'll see this ask AI to do anything button, which is in itself is exciting. When you go in there, you can use it if you've got Breeze credits. You can use it to enrich a record for itself, but then the beta gives you this Ask Breeze anything, and I really think this is one of those ones that over time this is going to develop and it will become really exciting. So basically you can write any message in here, and now you can understand what I mean about the whole custom coded action, because essentially you're asking it to do something and return a value. So I could like I was playing with this earlier and I was thinking, oh, this is quite a simple way to, if you play around with the logic, you could get it to look at a first name and pick everyone who's got a letter beginning A to M and send it to one salesperson, and everyone else who's got a letter N to Z go to another person. You could do that sort of thing because it's interpreting the data. Another example I found online, which I'm just going to show you on here because it's better than me replicating it, was this is a bit more detailed, and the sort of thing that I think really does help is, so this one says, you're helping me determine if a Unix timestamp falls within the range of a certain time of day or outside the range. The date doesn't matter. So this is the timestamp, the create date. So it's basically saying, look at the create date, look at the time on that create date. Does the timestamp fall between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 a.m.? If yes, respond outside of business hours, and if no, respond during business hours. This could help you to start looking at, are people requesting things, filling out forms outside of business hours or inside of business hours? You could actually start using that as some of your marketing. Could you get a chat bot on the website that is outside of business hours that's answering some of these specific requests? And that's another thing that you really can't do normally. This is something that you will need Breeze for, because it's reading into the create date and looking for a specific type of thing. So you would message that in here, and then basically in the next step, so I'll just put in here, return first, I'm going to type in here and then I'm going to say industry. So I'm just going to ask it very silly one of return the first letter of their industry, for example, so I can show you the next step, which is that's then doing that. You can, in the next step, basically deliver the output of this message. So you would do branch logic, and then you would choose action properties, so action outputs. So you could then take that action output and use it to branch on that response. So I could then create a branch that's like, okay, anything that is ATA, whatever, go down this branch and another branch. So that's the sort of thing you can be doing. You're basically, it's kind of like the custom coded actions and some of the operations hub pieces by doing an input and then an output. But equally, you could take something here. If you could take everything before the @ on an email address and put it into a first name property, for example. There's lots of different use cases. So I'm really intrigued by this one. But it's one to explore and look into things. So yeah, I'm excited by it. But again, it's one of those ones where with AI, it's so clever that you're going to have to think about it and work out what the best way to use it.
I built one. Oh, Amy, sorry, you're on mute.
I was going to say, from a sales perspective, I was just thinking that the time example would be a really interesting one. We could play around with whether you want to send a follow-up to a form submission saying speak with somebody during business if it's during business hours, or you could perhaps send something else if it's outside business hours. So there's loads of different applications.
Yeah, and the mind's kind of going a bit. I think this is one that we can potentially be doing some HubSpot hacks on, Bridget, because I think there's probably quite a few nice, simple use cases that everyone could use. Like Amy, that one there, like, yeah, if it's in business hours, send it to a salesperson. If it's outside of business hours, send it to a salesperson, but also send a message saying, sorry, our business hours are this. We will get to you soon. Equally, actually, just that's triggering, for example, if someone's on holiday, you could have something that says, if the date is this, then then the salesperson's on holiday, reroute it to this person instead, or something like that. There's lots of use cases.
There is, but don't be put off by if you get it wrong, because I built one the other day and I had to do 10 variations. I could not figure out. So if it's a bit tricky to get in the first time, that's because it is tricky.
So I got another one to help streamline workflows. Bridget mentioned remixes earlier. So if you are using them, this just update gives you the chance to save a template. So if you've rather than using the HubSpot default templates, you can create your own custom one. So if you're starting to see patterns the way you're setting these up, you can now save them and share them to other members of your team as well. So again, just helping you get to your output quicker, basically. So nice, simple update, straightforward. I think very useful.
Yes. Another one that you can be asking Copilot for now is insights on your marketing emails. I have tested this and I'm not like mega impressed. I think a lot of what it kind of comes back with, you can find yourself on the performance tab, but that's not to say that in the future that's not going to get a bit better. And also it says that you can say, how did my last marketing email perform? So I've tested that prompt and actually that prompt doesn't work. So it was again another one of those things that you need to figure out how to ask the right questions. So if you're really specific when it comes to, compare this email and this email, I think that's worth it. But if you just want to analyze one email, you've got to be really specific, and you would get all that information just from the Analyze tab anyway. So one to be aware of, but not super impressed by that one.
This is a really, really nice one. I've got quite a few clients who are using multiple languages or have a global business with lots of different users and audiences. So it's simple as just you can now select an email and choose to translate it. So there are 31 languages supported, which is actually a nice number, because a lot of things in HubSpot, the languages supported are quite few. But basically, yeah, instead of having to take the time, do the translation yourself, you can basically just as you can see here, select an email and then basically do the translation. Obviously, it goes without saying, do a check on it afterwards. Never just take AI as it comes, but really nice to just, as I always say, start you without a blank page, just get you started on your translation.
Exactly, and it gives somebody something to review rather than having to write it from scratch. So or outsource it to somebody who's going to translate it for you. So yeah, really cool.
Cool. On to more of the CRM tools now.
This one I actually used yesterday. Really good for a presentation. But you can export graphs basically from HubSpot, but you are able to adjust the image size. So instead of just exporting it as it is on this graph here, I could make it wider or narrower. The graph I was exporting was a date range, and actually for the slide I was making, I needed it more of a square format rather than a longer rectangular format, and I was able to do that. So it was really quick, much nicer output as well. So again, not a complex update, but nice one.
Better than a screenshot. Yeah, is what we've all been doing. New properties have been created for if you're tracking deals. So if you're professional or enterprise, there's now 2 new default properties. So date entered at current stage and time in a current stage, which I think is going to be really helpful for reporting. I know most people had these set up anyway. And then there was like a calculation that you could do, but actually now it's just part of HubSpot, and they've done it as a default field. So you can calculate now like bottlenecks if things are stuck in stages for too long. And what I did do, so let me get my
Why are
screen.
you doing that, Bridget? This is one of the updates you think, why has this taken so long, right?
Yeah, it's quite standard.
Yeah, workarounds, and you think, oh yeah, but yeah, it's a really useful one, as you say. For I think bottlenecks is probably the best use case. So you can have alerts when something's been in the current stage for over X amount of time, and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And so what I've done is I've gone on to like a company record on the side panel. I've looked at the deal module that they have there, and what I've done is I've gone in and I've just customized the properties to include that time in current stage, so that I think what's really important when they bring out these new properties is to make sure that if they're useful, which I think this one is, making sure that you're still personalizing your contacts or company view to see those properties, because we can see that this one's been there for 111 days. This is our test portal. So that would probably be a red flag in most businesses.
This is one that, honestly, like Chris and I, maybe 6 years ago, were building this as a massive workaround
manually.
in every single portal, and the amount of different like time in stage properties, date stamps between every single property, like this is huge that this is just now available, because this is something that we built in so many portals and took a lot of time. So I'm very pleased by this one.
Yeah, and like Amy said, it's great for notifications. It's going to impact a lot off the back of it. But yeah, that's for pro and above, that one.
I can't contain my excitement on this one.
I was going to say, I think it's quite interesting as a use case, doing that in reports as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So this one, I just have no words of how excited I am. I think I put this on LinkedIn and I was just like, thank you. Because this is amazing. So I am going to demo this one. It sounds really simple, but it is amazing.
And it is quite simple, yeah.
And I mean, I loved it when they put calls as a record type. Yeah. This is like next level. This fixes so many of my problems. So basically, you'll be very aware of contacts, companies, leads, deals, tickets. And for a while, you've been able to click into contacts and then use the drop down to scroll down through all the different options. We've got quite a few custom objects in this portal, so ignore those. But you could click through to calls, for example, and that was really helpful because you could see all the calls in your portal. If any had accidentally been logged, you could delete them. You could fill in any missing information. But notes and meetings in particular have always been really like out of reach. And actually, even as far as 2 weeks ago, I was talking to someone going, why is this not a thing? Why can't you see all your meetings or all your notes in one place? Now you can scroll down and you can, as well as emails, as well as calls, you can now also see notes and meetings in particular. So this is what I did earlier. You can then see the meeting name. You could click through on it and actually update it in the record. You can look at the start and end times, and then most importantly, you can actually update it. So meeting outcome and meeting type are the most missing fields ever, because you just forget. You've just done a call quickly, you forget. If you've got a reminder in your calendar just to check all your meetings from the last week and make sure you go through and add an outcome and a call type, that is a game changer for reporting. Like I know from the success area, like we use this to track our check-in calls with clients and really use that in our metrics. So being able to go through and make sure you're filling in all the gaps is great. And then there's all sorts of opportunities for making this better. I just love it. And if I click through on one of these, if you can click on it, you can also do it. So like improve the associations, endless, and being able to do that with notes as well. Just love it.
Also being able to export from this view as well is huge too, because obviously it wasn't possible. So
the other thing I also quite like is you can mass update. So no, you can't mass update. that's hopefully coming. I'm hoping, unlike other record views, you should usually be able to select them and then there's like the edit. I imagine that will come a bit mass updating outcomes, etc. But you could go through and, for example, I could go in here and search by assigned to and just look at my meetings or just look at my team's meetings. And I could search a specific meeting as well. And I just love that for keeping your database clean, basically.
It's a good one.
Use this one. It's brilliant.
This one again, we are loving. So you can apply colors to property options.
We haven't got the screen shared. I don't think.
Was it not sharing?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's
Excuse me.
So you can on a property, if you've got some drop down values, you can apply different colors to those different values. So one example that we have in our portal that we've used is we have target accounts, and we have those target accounts tiered 1, 2, and 3. So we've now put this in so we can easily see the target account. What's really nice as well is being able to see it in list views. For example, on this screenshot here, we have got, for example, about the company, and have got target count as one of the properties on the right-hand side of the HubSpot view, and you can immediately see with the color the property option as well. So it really helps if you're trying to flag information to a team. It really draws your eye to it. So yeah, it's a really useful update, I think. So this makes it be able to pick out the information you need much easier.
It's kind of extending deal tags and ticket tags, isn't it? Because they've had that color flag for a while, and that's been really helpful for making deals jump out at you. So being able to do that in other views is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one is a small update, but I think there's a really good use case for this in quite a lot of businesses. The example given here is just anniversary testing date time. But if we think about some of those anniversaries, you could say birthdays, that kind of thing. But actually, I wonder if you could even take it further around like contract renewals or the date they first started working with you. For example, like we've got some clients that have been working with us for near on like 8 years. To be able to recognize that, or recognize, oh, you've hit 10 years with us, kind of thing, like that's really nice. So it's now basically, if you've got an anniversary field, you can then work on is X number of days ago. So yeah, it's basically a recurring event that happens often. Yeah, that don't need a specific year. So it's just a date in the diary. So yeah, I really like this one. Small but interesting for a lot of businesses.
It gets overlooked because of what it's called, anniversary filters. Like it's very B2C to say like anniversary, like birthday, you get a discount on your birthday type thing. But actually, the examples that you've used, there is a lot that you can do from a B2B perspective with these dates.
That's very good.
On to the second best hub, Marketing Hub. I'm very biased, but I wanted to talk about the workflow date delay. So you've always been able to do a delay. Let me get an example up. You've always been able to do the delays in the workflow tools, but actually now what's changed is that you can do it based on that contact's time zone, which is really important if you're a global business or you're just targeting people on different days. So you can do all of the same specifics, until a calendar date, until a date property, until an event occurs, or you can set an amount of time. But basically what that will now do is just do it based on when on that contact's time zone, if it's different to yours. So a little one, but very good for marketing, just to make sure that you're getting through to people at the best time for them, not just for your account's time zone.
And stops you having to do maths in your head, which is so tricky every time. Like going, oh, so it's this time, or Googling the standard, what is the time in New York right now? Especially when currently they've had daylight savings and we haven't. So the time zone difference is different at the moment. So saves all of that, which I love.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good one.
It is a good one. So this update, so you can preview the score insights in lead and health scores, just allows you to see a bit more easily the score distribution preview. So it show you what the impact would be across those data points with the scores. So just again, rather than just testing an individual record, you can much more easily see the impact of any changes you might want to make. So really useful update there.
That's good, because with lead scoring, it can be so tricky to know exactly, is this going to work or not? And it's very like touch and go, but this is a good one. I say that about all of them because I love all of these, but they are all good. That's why we're talking about them. This one is really cool, actually. So previously, you couldn't really have much visibility on whether or not a CTA led to a form submission, and that's obviously a really important journey to be tracking. So what they've done now, it's in the, I don't think anybody should still be on the legacy CTA builder. Everyone should have moved over to the new CTA builder already, but it's on the new CTAs. There's basically now, I can show you within HubSpot. It's here. So you can do it this is our test portal, so we actually don't have any attributed submissions, but you can do it on an individual CTA. So go into that CTA and you can look at the overall engagement, and it'll basically tell you how many submissions you've got off the back of this button or CTA, whatever it is, and you can see the percentage there. And they've got another tab there, but obviously there's no data in our test portal for this one. But you can also look at all of your CTAs as a whole as well and see whether or not they're driving any submissions. And if it's 0, potentially you need to do some A/B testing on your buttons or CTAs, move them around a bit, do some changes. So it's exciting to be able to now see what's driving submissions, and you can filter it down by campaigns as well, which is really cool. So that one's one of my favorites.
Yeah, so this next one actually really nice for the standard marketer who doesn't want to have developers involved lots to kind of optimize their emails, which makes it more difficult to quickly get an email out. Also helps deliverability. So basically this is now the option to hide certain things on mobile optimization. So when you've got an email created, you can now at the top of the email in the center, you can now click between desktop and mobile, and you can actually really easily just click on it and click on the module you want to hide, and there's an option that says for mobile, do you want to keep it the same or do a variation, and then you can, it's almost like setting up smart content, but it allows you to set up a hide that module. So you might want to streamline it to have a bit less text on mobile, maybe crop out a couple of images to make it a shorter email. So yeah, really nice one for people optimizing emails.
This one, staying with the emails, is the preview. So if you're anybody like me, I have Slack in dark mode, I have my emails in dark mode. Now you can preview what your email might look like to somebody who's got dark email set on. So again, really nice, quick update. You kind of get a chance to see what your site looks like if it's being viewed in that.
And then on to Service Hub. So quite a few here. So if you haven't used the customer agent, I would really recommend it. It's basically an AI chatbot that you feed loads of information from your website, and it learns the correct answers to certain questions. So if you've got FAQ documents, you'd feed it this, and it will come back to that person asking a question, hopefully with the correct answer. And we've been using it and had really big success so far. And they're just taking it a little step further now. So you can, instead of it just being HubSpot content that you can sync with it, you can now do both public URLs and related URLs. And you can also do PDF, TXT and HTML files as well. So we were talking internally about a use case for that. So if you've got a pricing document on your website, you could quite easily put that into the chatbot, the customer agent, and somebody could say, how much does this service cost? And it would just populate from that PDF if you don't have, your prices visible on your website. So that's quite a good one as well.
I think that's really nice. Just that, yeah, just it almost brings some of your, I think HubSpot uses the example of like an external knowledge base or something that isn't in HubSpot, being able to bring that knowledge into HubSpot. I can think of so many slide decks that for customers, they've got that information. Maybe it's welcome decks or certain resources they've got from workshops. So being able to get them access to that is brilliant.
Yeah, I'd be very careful with what information you're feeding it. It needs to be, you know, like information you're happy being public facing, because this is going to be public facing. And yeah, public URLs, obviously you want it to be from reputable URLs that hopefully you own, as well as a key point. But yeah, a good one.
Who's this one?
This was me, wasn't it? Yes. Yes. Sorry, got too excited about that one. Yeah. So basically, a small update, but you can now automatically create a ticket when a user sends a new outbound message from help desk. So traditionally, when you've got a team email set up, anything coming in, you can set it that anything new coming in can create a new ticket. You can set it now for outbound. I've been struggling with this a little bit to know when you would want that to happen, because whether you'd want it completely on or completely off, but I guess it's useful to know. So yeah, it's useful to know it's an option there, but if it's probably if for example, someone has called you up and given you an issue over the phone and you then send them an email to address that, it could create a ticket. I can see that working. And obviously, if you're responding to internal communications anyway, that will have already created a ticket. So you responding won't create a new one because that's a response to an existing one. So I think the use case of this is, yeah, if you are using other modes of intake for those support queries, this is a way to get it in and automate that ticket generation without having to manually do it. But yeah, just think about it in your process, really, is what I think about.
Good point. It's quite niche. Not everybody will need to use this.
Staying with help desk, this is another update which just again helps streamline your workflows.
So basically,
follow up and click. So for example, you might want to send a reply and then we close it from here. When you click on the link, put send, set to close, and then it's just done in one rather than also just a nice one to.
The other thing on this, which is kind of an extension of this same update, I think, yeah, I don't think I'm jumping to another one, is you can actually now, previously you could only reply to the last email sent, but you can actually now go back through the history of that chain and reply. I mean, the amount of times I've had a customer say something and I've had to go back to a really long ago email and go, actually, we did discuss this and this is the answer. Or maybe it's taken you ages to look into a specific issue. You can now reply from any of those emails in that chain rather than just the last one, which is quite useful for being specific about what you're replying to.
And then just one last one that I wanted to, I think don't know why I've got animation on that side. The last one to talk about is blocking free email domains from your scheduling meetings. So we had a period not long ago where for some reason we were getting lots of free email domains, trying to book a meeting via our meeting link on our website. So we had to go and pop this on. It's a little bit tricky to find, so I'm just going to quickly show you. You have to do it. The negative with this one is you have to do it on every individual meeting link. There's not a way to bulk do it for all of your meeting links, which I'm hoping that they're going to change eventually. But what you'll have to do is obviously you go to your, let me go to the meetings page. So this is in our test portal again, and you click edit onto the meeting that you've previously created, or you could do this as you go through for a new one. And then on the scheduling tab, you go down and then it's under form. And then here you can block free email domains. So it's like a little bit hidden. You've got to go through a couple of steps and you can't do it in bulk. So it's a one-on-one thing. But I would recommend everybody doing that if you don't want to get any bots booking meetings and things like that, but you do need to have Sales Hub for that one. And then another one that's in development, which we don't normally talk about things that are in development, but it's a really exciting one, and I know a few people have asked for this previously, is that they're revamping the kind of campaign performance tab, where previously it would show only kind of revenue, influence, contacts and things like that, whereas now you give it your goals. So we want to get 1,500 MQLs from something, and you can have a gauge report that shows you what you're doing. So if you're not revenue based, if you're education, for example, your campaigns aren't built on revenue. This one's a really, really good one. So in development, but I think it's happening March, end of March. So it should be rolled out then. And a couple of last things. If you haven't already, we've got some Ops Hub training happening on Friday, which Hannah is running, and it's going to be really, really good. If you are considering Ops Hub, but you're not entirely sure what it involves, or if you haven't even thought about it before, but you want to see what it's about, or if you're using it and you just want some ideas on how to use it, Hannah's going to be going through how to use it properly on Friday. So we'll include the link in the chat in a moment. And I think we've got some time for Ask Us anything.
Whilst we're ready for any questions, I thought I might flag two things, if that's all right. We also have our next hub on the 4th of April, and I'll put that in the link as well just now. This has been really popular, so do sign up. You can come and join us here in our offices. And the second thing is that we're growing, we're hiring, and I know everybody here is as passionate as HubSpot as us. So if you know of anybody maybe in your networks who's a HubSpot superstar, sales and marketing roles, we're definitely looking for as well. So yeah, anybody you could refer to us would be brilliant.
Very exciting. Yeah, it'd be good. Oh, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, it would be good to know if anyone's got a favourite tool there that they're going to go and have a play around with. Hopefully the Breeze one everybody's quite excited about, because I think that one's quite cool. But if there's anything specific anyone's got any questions about, they want to see a little bit more of, let us know in the chat. Or if there was ones you hadn't heard of and that that they were brand new today.
And I have just put a poll in, I just randomly did this, to ask how you would rate this session, because I'm interested in some feedback. We'd love to get more people on this. We'd like to know from you if you're likely to recommend this to a colleague, and also any feedback you've got. So please do just take 1 minute to answer that question, because it really helps us with these going forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, thanks, Julie.
Thank you. We'll just stay on here to give you time to answer the poll before you leave.
Yes. Well, I've got it on my list to go and play around with some Ask Breeze workflow actions.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It hunting through the meeting things.
Yes.
No, Breeze does hurt your brain a little bit, but it's worth going down that rabbit hole to then learn a few little productivity wins. So I love that.
With all AI tools people are using, Gemini or ChatGPT, the more you start to use it, the more you start use cases and best prompts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I had a couple of people respond.
A few people have, but yeah, maybe I'll ask earlier.
Do a mid one.
Yes.
Oh,
that's helpful. Yeah, that is definitely helpful. But it is I think we do talk quite fast when it comes to some updates, just because we've got so many to squeeze in. But actually, we finished a little bit early, so we could have slowed down. But we will send the recording out as well if you did want to watch it back for specific updates as well. So I'll make sure that you get the email after this, but that's helpful.
Yeah, any feedback is helpful to know how we can change these.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of people still to feedback, but we'll give you one more minute and then we'll close the webinar.
But if you've got feedback that you don't want to write here and you want to send to us, send to one of us.
Yes.
Jem at, Bridget at, Amy at babelquest.co.uk. So yeah, email us with any feedback. We always love to get that.
Absolutely. It's amazing. Right, I'm going to end this now. But thank you to everyone that did respond and for everyone that joined us. It's great to have so much engagement from everybody. And we look forward to seeing you all again next month.
Okay. Thanks everyone.